Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Coffee Club Podcast, episode 112. We are just fighters today. Last week, we unfortunately could not record an episode because we were down bad with the COVID, the sickness. Well, actually, Olli was fine, but George and I had COVID. In particular, I was very sick. But today, we are back, and Olli's already left us for Thanksgiving. He's currently in Texas, so we're just going to record a quick kind of 15 minutes with the boys, check in with everyone, see how they're doing, and then we'll kind of roll into more of our other topics. But today is a very big week because we have the NCAA cross-country recap, and we have one of our teammates stopping by later who has just recently won a very big race. So lots to bring you this week, but first off, Olli, how's Texas going?
It's good. Yeah, I'm down here in the Lord's country, God's country.
That's what you said about. That's what you said about Sutherland. About
yeah, it's true.
About
Sutherland and Sutherland and Texas are the same, bro.
Everywhere Olli goes is God's country.
Yeah, exactly. I just know where to spot God's country. Yeah, I'm in Texas at the moment for Thanksgiving. Was very lucky enough over the weekend to catch up with a good friend of ours, Carlos Villarreal, who is in Austin, which is not too far away from where I am in Houston, and got to catch up with him. He's put on some muscle, or maybe something else, who knows, but It was good to catch up with him, have a few beers. He's doing well, keeping on afloat down there in the South, so props to him, showing me a great time in Austin. Injury update, I can walk pretty normally now, up and down stairs. I've been doing some exercises. I'm back in the pool, hitting the sessions hard, swimming about 60 to 90 minutes a session, and then I'm trying to get in some more lifting. So, which is going to be interesting because George, I don't think Morgan. Have you had this injury, the sacrum?
Never the sacrum.
No, but George has had it, and Jonas has had it, and a few others, and Mario, and it was interesting talking to them, and Dathan, who's also had it, of course. Dathan's had every injury under the sky when it comes to that sort of stuff. But it's interesting what you can do in the gym and what you can't do, because a lot of the things that I expected I couldn't do, I can do, and then when I'm in the gym and something as simple as just lifting up my knee or lifting up something in a certain angle, it all of a sudden hurts. So it's interesting learning about my body in that way and how things react, because I'm definitely the last person on the team who is very knowledgeable and also very wise about how muscles and bones work. So it's been an interesting experience, but it has sucked because I felt like I already went through this period when I was home in Australia, not running and swimming and doing other cross-training things, and now I'm kind of back to where I was, but I still feel pretty fit, just enjoying the warmer weather down here and looking forward to getting this week through, and then hopefully by the next week I think I'll be on the boost, because everything seems to be feeling pretty good walking around. I'm using a shockwave therapy thing that Dathan got, which is really interesting because I don't feel anything. I just walk around with a lubed little socket on the back of my lower back.
I don't think that's shockwave. I think that's a light infrared device. The bone stimulator.
Well, it's an ultrasound.
The bone stimulator.
It's an ultrasound device, and it says shockwave on it. So I don't know. Maybe I got the wrong box. Amazon delivered the wrong package.
Maybe they're just trying to make it sound more epic than it really is, because I know what you have. It's just a pissy little.
I was wrong.
Bone
It's an ultrasound bone healing system.
Yeah, I had that exact same box.
I was wrong. I apologize. But yeah, things are going well.
I thought you were getting shockwave on your ass. That would hurt so bad on your sacrum.
That is what I don't know if we want to get back too into it, but that is what Dathan wanted Olli to go get in Boston but that's not specific. Do you know what I'm talking about? That's this guy who does whole wave shock.
Whole body?
Whole body shockwave therapy.
What does that look like?
Full body shockwave.
You just electrocute yourself, I think, and then you're meant to. I think
you get tasered.
I think you just feel better because everything else hurts more. So
shockwave is the worst.
Yeah.
Treatment.
Don't recommend.
If you have to get that, I mean, I think it. People obviously have some good results from it, but it's so painful at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a jackhammer on your bones or tendons
Hey.
or something. And I swear it just kills all the nerves. So you're like, oh, that feels good. Well, can't feel it at all, but it feels good.
Yeah.
Right.
I found my favorite new chicken sandwich as well, boys. I only can get it in Texas. It's called Jollibees. The
Jolly
sandwich is a little
Bees.
burnt though.
That looks terrible.
That's black.
Well, it's old, and I put it in the toaster oven. And
I thought they
it
served.
burned it.
I thought they served it to you like that. That's a little
Nah.
crisp. A little crispy
But
for my
I-
taste.
I would have seen that back.
I did. I did a classic, ordered too much food. I also got spaghetti. You can get spaghetti there as well, and it wasn't very good.
At the chicken shop.
But I got a couple of chicken sandos and ate one today, and I burnt it accidentally, but still pretty good. Shout out Jollibees, your favorite chicken spot. Pretty good. I'm still looking at Coffee Club / NASA collab. They won't let me in to NASA for some reason. I don't have credentials for it, but that'd be a pretty good Coffee Club NASA
There's got to be
collab.
a
I was
link
thinking
there.
of sending
Let's send Gus to the moon.
sending Gus out to space. I think would be, that's good for the sport. That's helping the podcast and the sport in some way. Surely we'll figure out a way to pitch that. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I haven't got much else going on. Missing the team, missing the fellas. Missing Dathan yelling at me about how he was able to probably run like a 2:04 marathon with a fractured sacrum, but I can't walk up and downstairs. So, but yeah, no, all good here.
Good to hear. Good to hear things are going well.
I think part of the issue with Ollie's way of Dathan getting mad at Ollie's walking is if anyone's ever seen Ollie just walk in the morning, he even when he's not injured, you walk like there's something seriously wrong with you.
Something's up my ass. Yeah.
Like just limping around.
Yeah.
I think that's just your walking way, especially in slippers. I think that's it.
That's my strut, bro. That's my strut.
You do strut
Strutting around.
So then
Limping.
Dathan thinks there's something there that there's not.
No.
It's like,
Yeah, pretty much.
This is just normal.
think
This is
he's
just how
fine.
I do it. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
are you in charge of for Thanksgiving, Ollie?
Looking good, feeling sexy.
It's a big task.
So I'm in charge. I'm
Right
the
man for the
stripper
job.
for the. Yeah, no, I'm not in charge of anything at the moment because I'm going to some other place for Thanksgiving that they alternate from. But I wanted to make a pavlova. I don't know if that's going to happen or not because it's a lot of egg whites, a lot of sugar. But the Australian pavlova. I was going to write on it, George. Congratulations, Australia, world champions for the cricket. I thought you would enjoy that little that little topping I might do with fruit with kiwis. This is congratulations to Australia for cricket world champions. But yeah, I was thinking of doing that. We'll see if you guys maybe are lucky enough. I'll take a photo of it. It's probably going to look like this, probably. But we'll a burnt pavlova. We'll see.
Yeah.
What about you guys? What's your
Yum.
Thanksgiving plans?
Oh, wow. We didn't even start the episode by saying happy Thanksgiving to everyone. That's so rude of us because this episode should be coming out on Thanksgiving. So first off, apologies, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Turkey Day.
If you celebrate here in the US.
Yeah. Happy day, even if you don't.
Happy
Yes.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Happy Coffee Club release day. And we know that you all celebrate that. Secondarily,
Yeah.
happy Thanksgiving. But yeah, I don't actually have any plans yet because COVID, I mean, we'll get more into like the COVID update, but that pretty much just washed my schedule. George, what about you?
Did you have big plans?
I might have got an invite to a certain somebody's house, maybe potentially Nick Harris's place, but I don't think, I don't know if I'll really do anything because I'm just like still, so I got sick like a week ago now, but I'm still, I would say I'm at 80% and I'm just really like can't do too much and I don't want to commit to really anything. So we'll see what happens. I'm a real see how I feel on Thanksgiving Day, which is not a good way to go about it because that's what Olli and I did a couple of years ago, and we ended up eating nothing. Like, we literally ate nothing. Like it was the worst Thanksgiving meal I've ever had. It was so bad, and because we had a workout that morning as well. So then I think we were a little bit too tired, a little bit too lazy to get to the shops before they.
Didn't you see? I feel like you sent Alyssa
Alyssa went and got us like a steak.
Yeah.
5 minutes before the grocery store closed.
I think we had like a little bit of like mashed potato and like a steak, and we watched the SpongeBob movie. It was like
Yeah. It was. If you guys want to check it out, it's on Morgan's YouTube. You can definitely check it out because it is quite sad.
It's a very sad
Yeah,
anticlimactic
but shout out
Thanksgiving.
to Alyssa for looking after us that Thanksgiving.
That was a brutal one. So hopefully, I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe I will start planning. I'm thinking after being reminded of that experience, I think I'll start planning immediately after this. But what about you, George?
I am actually very excited for my Thanksgiving plans, which include flying to San Diego tomorrow afternoon, and not going to San Diego, but going to Carlsbad for 3 nights, where Jenna's older sister recently moved to a house on like front row at Carlsbad on the beach.
On the beach.
And it's looking like 75 and sunny the rest of the week, and I'm very excited about it. Got some running recommendations from former NAU teammate that grew up in Carlsbad. So, no, I'm looking forward to it. If anyone, I guess this comes out on Thursday. If anyone wants to run tomorrow,
If you listen to this immediately when it comes
Yeah.
out and you want to run tomorrow.
hit me up.
Epic.
Yeah.
That's
Is
crazy.
this a good time to mention that why everyone feels bad is because of me? Like I'm willing to take
we-
the hit on that.
should we
That I
take-
almost killed Morgan
Take the blame.
last week.
So George may have been responsible for introducing the COVID once again to
Once again.
our lives. Well, I'm not saying that
Oh yeah.
you were responsible last time, but just that this is the second time that it's gone through the team.
This is the second breakout.
And both
I still
times,
haven't got COVID.
both times Ollie has been suspiciously immune. Suspiciously.
The chicken nugs, baby.
What was your mum's theory as an expert on Ollie's full-blown immunity?
Just built different. Just literally built different.
I think it's like the more intelligent you are, the more susceptible you are from COVID. That's what I heard.
That's the
So the less intelligent you are, the less you don't have to deal with diseases like that, you know?
yeah.
So
yeah.
the more symptoms you have, if you're more intelligent, because Morgan gets
Yeah.
hit hard.
So pretty much.
Yeah.
So I got
yeah, go ahead.
we had a lovely trip to New York to watch Helen, but unfortunately, and probably like if you're gonna get it somewhere, it's probably New York. That was like the original hotspot of COVID, most densely populated place on earth, I swear, and unfortunately, brought back the disease to Boulder, and at the end of the week, I started feeling bad on Thursday. Like started feeling bad running, just thinking I was tired. Obviously, I didn't know anyone had COVID, so I wasn't like thinking that I had it. And I was just like feeling not great running. I was like, oh man, we're training a lot. Like maybe it's just catching up to me. But woke up Friday morning and was like, all right, actually this isn't just tired. So didn't go to practice. But by then it had spread. It had spread to Morgan and Joe Clicker, the strongest of all of us, and Josette. I gave it to 3 of us, three fallen teammates, and
Not bad contagiousness.
bad
Well
numbers.
done on that account. Especially because you were outside with like for myself, like we recorded the podcast on Wednesday, so I assume that's when I got it.
Mhm.
For the other guys, you just only saw them outside, so that's very impressive.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I
Yeah.
guess that's how COVID goes, and
Yeah.
I feel very fortunate to have had barely any. I had a headache for kind of Friday and Saturday. Took Friday off, but like probably didn't have to. Just Friday's already our easy day, so thought I may as well and get in a little bit extra rest. And then I doubled Saturday and Sunday and got back to normal training on Monday and had the biggest week of my life actually last week following COVID. So I feel really lucky to have had it super lightly and now hopefully quite immune. But I feel bad for almost killing Morgan,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
did not have it like I did, unfortunately.
I'm not going to spend too long harping on it, but I was very sick and still am a little bit sick. I'm not like, I don't have COVID anymore. Like I've tested negative, but I'm just like still, my body's recovering from 4 to 5 days of intense fevers and a terrible mouth infection. So yeah, that's what I've been dealing with. Sometimes I think I'm strong and then I get sick and I realize I'm just a man and I have my limitations. And yeah, I've had to take it very, very easy, and especially running wise. Running hasn't even been like a thought. That's how you know the different levels. It's like some people like, oh, I feel so sick. I only ran 8 miles today. I'm just like, couldn't even think of running for that first week, and now I'm up to running back to 30 minutes or so. So that's good, and I feel okay doing it. So yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. Like I hope it's not, at least. Like I think over the coming days, I think I'll really recover fully and feel good and be back training. But yeah, just gotta take it easy for a little bit longer still, and that's that. So yeah, no, not gonna make a big deal out of it, and hopefully we just move on. And by the time everyone's back together after this Thanksgiving week, everything is just pretty smooth sailing again. That's my dream. That's my dream. So before we let you go, Ollie, because we our special guest has entered the studio, just a quick, what are your rapid fire takeaways on the NCAA cross country?
So, honestly, great to see the turnout from social media. It looks like it was a big one, which was awesome. Great to see Graham, the Harvard boy, prodigy, 5-0. Well, not prodigy. He's pretty freaking good now. Winning the NCAA championship. Also, I love his comment about how he said he ran like a dumbass. I really like that comment because they went out like 2:30 in the first K.
That was ridiculous,
I think, which is insane. Parker Valby, pretty awesome run from her as well. She just took off. I have a bit of a stick with the women's cross country 6K. For me, it's way too short. And I think this discussion's come up before on our podcast. If it hasn't, it probably should. I think 6K is way too short. That's not cross country. 8K to 10K, I think.
I think they could do further.
Cross country.
I think they should do 12.
I think they could run 12K. Yeah, but in general, does that change my opinion on who would win? No, I think Parker Valley would have still won if it was 8K or 10K. But I think a 6K cross country run for women, I think, is just too short. That's like a middle distance run. That's my beef on that. It was great to see Tui's emotions. Tui's new. Their emotions with winning the third straight NC State title, which is fantastic. Apparently she was sick. I don't know much information about that, but he rallied. I think she was 13th and then got to 5th near the end of the race, which is great for NC State. NAU. I think Geordie was correct in saying that the women's team is better than the men's because they were 1 point away of winning a national title, which is pretty insane. That women's race was definitely, I think, more exciting than the men's in that sense. Oklahoma coming through with the win. It's pretty cool. Honestly, I love Dave Smith's comment, which I know was all over social media. When they asked him how he's going to win, they said they had to be one more point than NAU. That was a great comment, and good to see my good mate Michael Smith having a little chuckle about that. Just letting him know that Olin really enjoyed that that comment remark. Yeah, that's my takeaways from it. It looked pretty cool. Every time I see cross country, particularly with NCAA, like Europeans as well, but I think Morgan probably and George feels the same way. I miss cross country when I watch it. I like get nostalgic about it, and I really want to go back to it. But then I start to get a snap into reality and think, yeah, I remember when we tried to do cross country as a pro, and it was a bit different than what we wanted or expected. But definitely gave me good nostalgia and was exciting to watch. So that's my hot takes for it.
Hell yeah. Well, Ollie, we look forward to having you back in person next week so we can chat it all up for a little bit longer, I think. But thank you for joining us for a little bit this morning.
Enjoy the week.
Thank you.
Enjoy Texas.
See ya.
Will do. See y'all.
See you, mate.
All right, so we are joined now by Hellen Obiri, the queen of the OAC. Hellen, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Morgan, and you?
I'm good, thank you. We have a little icebreaker question, which was requested by someone off camera. Who is your favorite member of the OAC?
Wow. You know.
I know the answer.
My girl there, Cinta.
That question was rigged.
Yeah.
That was rigged, Cinta.
So you and Cinta have spent a lot of time. I mean, Cinta also is probably my favorite member, if I had to say. Maybe potentially biased as well. But you and Cinta have actually spent a lot of time together when you guys both were first here in Boulder. So, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. She's like, you guys have a kind of a sisterly relationship. even though she calls you mama, so maybe it's more of a
Maybe it's more mother-daughter.
No, we lived with Cinta for a while last year for like 3 weeks. And she was very good girl. So
She's
I'm
a
like
very good
mama
girl.
to her.
mama.
Yeah, because I'm older than her. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That makes sense. And also, she's the best friend of your daughter Tanya as well.
Yeah, Tan, she likes her a lot. She always asks me, why is Cinta? I want to see Cinta.
Oh, that's amazing. So we're going to talk about anything that you want to talk about. We will cover today. But first off, we do want to focus in on New York just a little bit because it was so recent and because we all had the privilege of being there to watch you. It was an amazing trip for all of us. How was it for you going back to New York this year after your massive race there last year with the debut? And I mean, the race didn't go quite how you wanted to, but the first marathon is always tough like that. Going back, how did you feel? You were a different person, weren't you? A different athlete.
Actually, let me say, like last year, I learned a lot about to do a marathon. Something I learned from a marathon is to be patient from last year. So last year, I can't say I did bad. It was good for me sometimes to learn. Sometimes things can go wrong way so that you can learn from your mistake. This year, I trained so well. I was so well prepared about the race. I was so excited to race. And sometimes when you have a support from your training mates, from your company, from your family, so you want to do extra hard work so that you can just make them proud because they are there for you. They have been supporting you. So it was my time to give out the best. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
That's amazing.
That's such a good way of looking at it.
They say you win or you learn. So you learned the first time and then you won the second time.
She's learned all the lessons that she needs to.
So, like this year can I do New York? Because last year was terrible for me. So I was saying like, how? But I remember somebody told me last year, I said, I won't come to New York again. And then she told me, you remember me. You will come here next year and you will win. So actually, I like, can I come and do, when you do bad things, you can do again good things so that you can show the world you are capable of doing much better than last year. So for me, I was going there to show the world I can do much better than last year.
Yeah, and it was amazing to be there to watch it. I have to say, it was almost, I wonder how it was for you racing it because it was such a slow build up because before the race, we had heard about the training that you had been doing and just based on, the accumulation of all your previous races and all that. We knew you were in amazing shape. We knew that you could run very fast if you wanted to, but then the race starts and you guys are jogging. You guys are taking it so easy. When you were running, all those miles, the first, I'm not sure how many you would say, 20 miles or whatever, were you ever nervous that, wait, is this the best plan for me? Because you knew how fit you were. Did you ever think, no, I should be making this faster? Or were you just calm and composed and you knew that no matter what anyone else did, you'd be able to match it and then even go faster at the end?
Okay, first from the start, I was so worried about the pace because I was looking my watch at about 5 miles and I know this one is going to be so slow race because nobody wanted to push the pace. But I knew other girls were like looking at me. If I make any move, they can like going with me. So for me, I said, let me be patient, even if it's a slow race. New York, it's all about win. It's like a championship race. So for me, I said like after 20 miles. So I was asking myself, can anyone make a move?
You wanted someone else to make the move.
So, and I said, not me.
Smart.
So I was saying like, so up to like that 6K. So I said, if we're gonna go with this way. So for me, I knew I had a strong finish. So I do believe on myself. So I say like, somebody's here. But for me, I can just use my track speed because I always have that speaking into my legs. So I say like, if it's about maybe 40K, so I'm going to decide maybe to go because it's only 2K to go. So luckily the ladies made a move up to from that 6K, and I was so comfortable throughout the race.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you were very happy about that, and then you sat in, and then at some point it was pretty late still, like was it 400 to go when you really started kicking on the big uphill going up to the finish? What was the point where you were all out, or did you always kind of keep an extra gear at the end just to know if the other women were kicking as well, that you could, take them?
I tried, I say to myself, maybe it's like 600 to go. Anything can happen. This race, even like the one who is slower can just win the race because it's a slow race. It's anybody's race. So I said, can I make a move? Because I know the Ethiopian lady was so strong and you can't underrate anybody in the race. So I said, like, can I just go? And at a certain point, I said, 300 meters too, I said, I started to kick so hard. Can I hold this pace? But, when you're just in front, there's something comes into your mind. There's something comes into my mind. If I'm so tired, also the girl who is coming, she also maybe she has been tired. So I said, like, let me keep on pushing. But it was so happy. So I didn't know where the finish line was because, when you are going, you can't see the finish line. So luckily when I was like towards the end of the hill, I saw like it's downhill and it's the finish line. So I get that energy to push extra hard.
Amazing.
So obviously it came down to you and G'day in the last 400 meters. And for, I don't know if anyone is listening and is not as, just for some context, she is the woman that beat you in the last 100 meters or 50 meters, 10 meters at World Champs in the 10K in Eugene. Did that cross your mind in the last finish? Like that, you wanted to get one back on her? Did that ever come into your mind?
Yeah, because so many people were saying that it was a rematch from World Championships and New York. So for me, I can just recall for World Championships, it was not a fair game. So for me, I said, like, let me show them it was not a fair game, because if I could allow Gita to beat me, so people will say, like, we knew it. People are complaining about 2022. Now you see what happened. So for me,
I was always on Team Hellen, even before you were a teammate.
Yeah.
If you go back
For
for anyone watching, watch the final 100 meters of the Oregon, the women's 10K. And I don't know how you don't get DQ'd for that.
So for me, I said, like, let's be our friend. It is my best friend. It's sports. Sports is all about friendship. But when you compete, there's no friendship when you compete. But after the race, you are friendship. So for me, I say, like, let me try maybe to show her I'm always better. I can do better always. So
it's very kind of you.
Little extra motivation.
Oh, that's amazing. And then when you finish a race like that, and one of the probably arguably the biggest race in the world, and you achieve your goal, can you describe that feeling?
There's sometimes you feel like, you can just imagine so many people, like more than 50 million people are watching. It's a big race. So you can just say, like, you have done it. But you can just say, like, it was a tough, but you have made it, because so many people wanted to race. There's so many people wanted to win a race. So it's a rare opportunity for me to win this race. So for me, I was always happy after the race, despite if I lose the race, if I want to lose. So I must be happy. And so, I say, like, now I've won the race. No, I have a big task, because you have shown so many people you are capable of doing it. So for me, how can I maintain that shape? Because, like, there's so many races coming. So for now, I say, like, New York's past. So for me, I'm looking forward what I can do.
Fair enough. Well, I guess we should probably move on then. Look forwards. Well, one more question before we move on.
Okay.
About the next day after the marathon, when you stayed in New York, and I know that you have a lovely dinner to go to, and then the next day you get to do all these cool events. And one of the events that you got to do was go to a football game. And there was a very famous picture which circulated with you with one of the players, Aaron Rodgers. Did you know who that was that you were getting your picture taken with?
Actually, let me say I didn't know him.
Yeah.
And where I came from, Kenya, we only know football. It's like soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different.
So for me, it was opportunity to see how American football is.
Did you watch the game?
Yeah, I watched the game, but there's someone who said, like, let me call the top American football so we can just come and say hi. So, like if you don't know somebody. So when people were asking me, do you know the guy? I say, no. So when they describe me, like, do you know I say, oh my, this is like, it was my first time to watch that game. It was interesting, but unfortunately, like, I didn't know how it was going, but I used to run slowly because, like, they have so many breaks. They use a lot of time. So
It's a very confusing sport.
I was thinking it's like a 45 minutes like football.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I was wondering, like, they have so many, like, 26 players. They play, and then the other ones comes inside. So, but it was, like, interesting game to watch. So even me, I said, I started watching it because they told me there's another American football in Denver. So I said it's excited maybe to watch.
So now you're a big fan.
Sure, yeah.
Broncos fan.
Go
That makes
Bronx.
sense. Tanya will grow up as a big Broncos fan. So, how long have you been in the US now? Must be a bit over a year since you first came here.
Yeah,
Because you came, I guess you came.
November. It was September last year.
Yeah, you came in the build up for New York. How have you liked being part of one, like the OAC, but then also just kind of like being here in Boulder and training? Have you enjoyed that, and how's that being compared to? It must be so different, I imagine, to your whole life in Kenya training. Which, I mean, you had so much success doing that, so it's got to be kind of a little bit daunting, changing all that up. But I mean, it's paid off already. But how has the whole transition to life in the US been for you and the family?
Let me say, it was not easy. For the first time, you are moving to a new country. You don't know somebody. It's a new, like, life started there. So it was like, let me say, like last year when I was here without a family. When you are used to be with your family and your family is far away, you need to talk with them. Time difference is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it was so stressful because I used to, like, let me say, from training, eat, and sleeping.
We know your routine well.
So I had my house help. They all do everything. For me, it's like, come and eat, mama. It's time to eat. It's time to go and sleep. So I was making my dinner, my lunch, my breakfast. I have to go for training. And the most challenging thing was to go training alone.
Mm.
In Kenya, I used to have so many group, like more than 50 people training together. Even in Finland, everything we used to do teamwork. So, but sometimes you say, I have to get used to a new environment. Now I'm not in Kenya. I don't have those training mates here. How can I adapt with these ones? So in March, we moved here with a family. At least it was much better. Of course, I won't say like life was that easy because, getting time to school, looking for apartment. But I thank the OAC team. They stood with us. They were like our new family because, you don't have a car. You have to look for apartment. You don't know which school is the best. But they helped us a lot because, like, without them, we could not make it. We could not like to live here.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, we are used to living here. Sometimes we ask Tanya, can you go back to Kenya? He say, no, mommy. If you want to go, just go. For me, I'm not going there.
So Tanya loves it here.
Yeah, and sometimes when you come here, I always say, if you want to have humble time, you can have humble time with your training mates because I'm with you guys all the time. So I was thinking, like, can I get used with these guys? How are gonna be? So first time I was so worried. Even talking with you guys, because I'm coming from Kenya, my English are not good like yours. So it was so challenging to communicate. So, but I get like, you are so friendly, understanding people. So I get used to train with you guys because, like, if I came here and you say, like, we don't want to train with you, so I could feel like, can I go back home? But for now, I feel like that I'm like in Kenya, so I don't need to go back to Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is Tanya's favorite thing about America?
Oh, she like I can say like she likes so many things, to make friends, and like when time Halloween, I don't know, it's Halloween time. It was so like he loved it because we asked Tanya what you want to be, so devil. And for us, we don't know how Halloween looks like, so he made us to know what things go. So for her, she likes making about friendship, so she's so lovely to make friends. Yeah.
That is special. It is an amazing cultural experience. The first Halloween for the family here in America. I mean, even for us, because we don't have Halloween back home the same as well. So even us to witness it, it's very special, and it is a lot of fun. So that is very cool. So we are looking forwards now. The big one is the Olympics, and the first question we do have surrounding that is about the qualifying. Do you know exactly how it works to qualify for the Kenyan marathon team?
In Kenya, we don't have trials, but they see how people have done in previous marathons. So first priority they give like Boston Marathon. So for me, winning 2 major marathons in a year,
It's not bad.
obviously I'm going to be in the team because
That should help.
They're going to name the team next month.
They name the team next month?
Yes, so that you'll have enough time to prepare for Olympics. So for me, I think I've done, for now, I'm top in Kenya in marathon. So I'm going to be in the team to Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so
It sounds pretty good.
that is nice. Be picked already. And so is everything just you're looking forwards to trying to win the Olympic gold in the marathon? Is that kind of where your head is at now? Are you already thinking about that?
Sure, because I've done 3 Olympics now, 2012, 2016, and 2020. So I've got silver in Olympics.
You get the silver.
So for me, I'm thinking like this one is going to be my year next year, because I'm looking for gold in track. I haven't lost any hope. So I am thinking have a chance of getting gold, and nothing comes like easy. I'm going to work hard. You know, the best thing you can get is to be healthy, because we have like more than 9 months. It's sports, anything can happen. So for me, first you stay healthy. That's all I need. And from there, you know, when you are healthy, you can train well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amazing. So just focus on that, and the rest of it should take care of itself.
It will be my main focus now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Anything else, George, before?
I mean, that sounds like pretty solid plan.
Yeah.
We're going for gold in Paris. That's what we're doing.
Hell yeah. Well, Hellen, thank you so much for joining us for a little bit today. We've really appreciated having you come on, as we do appreciate watching you every single day out there, inspiring us with just the way that you train and the way that you race and the way that you carry yourself. So thank you very much for choosing to be a part of what we have here. We appreciate it a lot.
You're inspiring us to become marathoners.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much also for your time to come New York to cheer me. It was so amazing to see you in streets cheering Hellen Coco. So I always appreciate your support, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hellen.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
And we are back, and it is just George and I here now. And first off, just thank you to Hellen for coming on. Busy lady. Busy lady.
I was going to ask her if, who she thought had like the most promise in the marathon, but
it's a big question.
Yeah, I didn't really want to know the answer.
I was
like, you've got no chance.
I was gonna ask her how much she naps in a day, and then I don't really want. I mean, I do kind of know. I think it's a crazy.
Just make us
amount.
feel worse.
Exactly.
About
I'm
how
just
little
like,
we nap.
well, yeah, because if you hear it from her, then it's like, well, why am I not doing that? You know what I mean?
Just like, you should just wonder why we didn't nap. It's like, that's obviously what you should be doing.
For anyone who's listening, I think the number is somewhere around like 4 hours. Like, it is like a crazy amount. It's
like 2.
Naps.
It's like multiple naps, right?
It's multiple naps, and she doesn't mess around. She trains in the morning,
And then has a morning nap.
and then naps like straight after it. So it's very
And an
impressive.
afternoon nap.
Yeah, I don't know how you can train yourself to do that, but
Was she saying she had like helpers at her house in Kenya?
yeah,
Like that would like cook for her and
I think so. I'm not see. I guess got to get it back on to get into this in depth, but I'm not sure how much time back in Kenya she would spend between living at home and maybe with helpers and being in training camp, because I know that they do training camp a lot, and especially the fact that she said that she trained with 50 people makes me think that maybe it was a training camp. And I don't know. I'm basing a lot just based off what I've seen from Eliud Kipchoge. I know he's on training camp, and I know they have like helpers and stuff, and I think they all do some of like the chores and that, but I think a lot of the time they're able to just to fully focus on training and sleeping and eating, the important stuff. So yeah, but
she was just like asking me in the gym if maybe she was on the table with Kev, and she was just like, I don't know, I was going in to run or left, or I don't know what I was doing. She was like, so when you're running a marathon, I was, shit, Helen, I don't know. Give me a few years.
Everyone has to move up to the marathon.
I know. Yeah, but I feel like that's what she was just like, yeah, like when you're running one, like that was just the obvious connection.
It
like,
is.
You're going to run one at some point.
Yeah.
When is it?
You have to, especially after being inspired by her.
She makes it look pretty sweet.
She does. She really does. I guess when you've won 2 out of your 3 marathons, and both of those are the majors.
Those are Kipchoge numbers.
Yeah.
He lost his first one and then went on like a win streak for like
10 years or something.
Something like that.
Crazy.
I could see that happening right now.
Yeah, I don't really know how it works, but she seems like she's not slowing down anytime soon. I'll say that much.
It's crazy that she won't end up doing a paced one for a long time.
That is really crazy. I think
like championship style ones and then the Olympics, which is just another. I mean, there are only 2 non-paced races, Boston, New York, and she's only done them.
Surely after the Olympics, then she'll have to go and tick all those different boxes.
Tick that world record bonus off.
Oh, that'd be crazy. See, now the women's marathon, the world record time is just unreal. You need
unreal.
You need an elite male to pace you to do it. Essentially.
Well, that is like actually a big benefit in women's marathoning. Even women's marathon training is that you can just get a sub. Well, now they actually have to be pretty good.
Yeah, they have to be very good.
Somewhere like sub-elite marathoner to like come train with you or pace you. Like,
or just Dathan on the bike.
Yeah. Well, does that like, should we just be able to have like a bike pacer then?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Yeah, we should. It is kind of crazy that it
seems like quite a big advantage.
I am a little bit surprised. No, I don't really know the context of this, the history of this topic, but I am a little bit surprised that they they allow male pacemakers for the women's world record. And I know that they have a women's only world record as well, but it seems like they don't really care about that one. Like clearly the women's world record with the male pacer is the most impressive women's record. Like it just is. So it's like that's the one that they're really going for. So yeah, that's Hellen, and it's going to be very exciting to watch her journey between now and see her on that starting line of Paris and see how that goes. And she probably will run another marathon in like one more in between that time, I think. So we'll see what happens. But coming full circle, apologies. I know this has been such a roundabout episode today, which is just because of our organizational skills. And we had a couple.
And Olli being in Texas.
We had a couple of technical difficulties earlier, but we're going to go back into the NCAA recap. And Olli did a really good job at just kind of going through all the headlines of it and really just kind of, giving the main big storylines. And I think we'll just get into those a couple more in
we'll do a deep dive to make up for our lack of preview. Which was zero preview. We didn't talk about NCAAs once this fall, I don't think.
Yeah,
like we're saving up for last week,
which is good because I don't think we would have looked very smart. Well, yeah, I mean, we would have done.
I definitely know a lot less people.
Apart from maybe the very very top people, we really our knowledge has really dropped off in terms of because when you're there or when you're 1 or 2 years removed, most of the top 40 people, or even more than that, you know. And so you have an idea, but now things have just changed. We're way too old for this. So,
I was thinking like this is like the last year that I actually know people on the NAU team. I think.
Yeah, see, that's such
like
a weird
that I was
thought.
on. I think this is the last year that I was on the team with anyone.
Because I don't cross over with anyone from the Wisconsin team anymore. So it's a really weird thing, and I kind of know them, but
it really showed in our draft game.
So
who are these people?
One thing that was very fun that we did as a team, organized by Andy Weeding. So shout out to Andy. Thank you very much for that. Also did have a $100 Amazon gift prize, which I completely forgot. Like I forgot that was like that there was a prize. I just was thinking that we were kind of just doing it for fun and to make watching the race a little bit more entertaining. But we did a full-on snake draft. It was. Was it 7 or 8 on a team?
7 per team and 12 of us. 12 of us playing. So like it took a long time to do a snake draft. Yeah. Whatever 7 times 12 is. Like we had to get down to text. Yeah. It was not a very efficient.
I mean
it was very last minute, but it was a lot of fun.
And it was men's and women's combined, and it was just then your top 5. And
top 5 scored. I had first pick. Nailed it. Out the gate. Parker Valby.
Very good pick. Very good pick.
Sent it.
What made you choose Parker Valby over Caitlin Tui?
I just had a good feeling about her this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think she just looked dominant at Nutty.
Nutty was that when she beat
Tui?
Tui, yeah.
For maybe like the first time.
Yep.
And I don't know. Maybe just for fun too.
Mm-hmm.
And just because she sent it last year and got caught, and this year had a good feeling about it. Nailed those tangents, and I mean that's kind of a big storyline about her.
The tangents,
the tangents. Yeah,
she did nail the tangents.
It is funny they brought it back up on the commentary.
Did they?
Like
did
Kyle
talk about it.
The other once again. Outstanding coverage from ESPN. It's so good to watch. They crush all the ads at the start, and then dude, they can't even have. You can't even run a 3K on the track without ads.
Mm-hmm.
But they can have a full 10K cross country with no ads.
Yeah, amazingly.
And like epic drone shots. I mean, Parker's so far in front the whole way that like you couldn't see any of the rest of the race.
Great graphics for the team scoring as well.
Oh, like every K split was so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
really.
The storyline I was talking about was her quote the day before, saying that she's been running 2 to 3 days a week.
Yeah, we need to dive into that because it's mind blowing. She's so good, and she's so good at distance running, which you would just think takes a lot of volume to be good at. But
it made me think when Olli was talking about how he thinks 6K is too short, whether or not you can get away with that at 10K. I agree with Olli. I still think she would have won if it was 10K.
I agree.
But I do think you can get away with that kind of system, like at the shorter distance, if that is truly what she's doing. But I'm going to say, like, I reckon those 2 to 3 days, she must be crushing. Or at least, like...
I think they're all workouts.
It's like Tuesday, Friday,
yeah,
Sunday. Or workout, long run, and then all her, like, quote-unquote easy mileage must just be cross-training.
Did she say how much she cross-trains? Was it like 2 hours a day or something like that? I think I saw some. I saw some people posting about it, but I didn't actually see it from her mouth or anything.
You didn't see it from her mouth?
I didn't see it in an interview.
You didn't see it come out of her mouth.
So I don't know what the truth is.
Well, we need to get on to really dive in. But, I mean, I know that, that makes what I was doing look like a lot when I was running 5 days a week. But even like doing that, I knew that it was possible to make up for a lot with like taking out easy runs and putting in some cross training, and then I would still do as big a workouts as anyone on the team, but try and make up for it with cross training.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just dive even more into that, take more easy mileage out.
Take it out.
And just jump on the elliptical all the time. I don't know if that's what she's doing, but I bet it is.
Yeah. I did see her say that she loves the, what's it called? The arc trainer. Which
is that an elliptical?
Yeah, it's an elliptical.
That's not the one that's like...
It might be.
That one's funny.
I'm not sure which one it is, but it is an elliptical. So I think she's just crushing a lot of time on that. I wonder how hard she goes for all that cross-training, because there are some people who cross-train like way too hard, because it's so boring, I think, is a big part of it.
I would often do like fartleks on the elliptical,
yeah,
just so it would like
time.
just to pass the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Because
1,
you
2,
wouldn't
3,
do that
4.
if you were running. Obviously, you just run easy and it's fine.
Yeah, but it's never that hard. Even if you like do an elliptical fartlek, it's not like it's that hard.
And when there's no impact on your body
Yeah.
still, like you could do it
But it's
enough.
just less boring.
You definitely could do it enough where you are stressing your body too much, but
That would have to be a lot of elliptical.
yeah,
Like
But-
I even think if you're running over 100 miles a week, I still think getting on the elliptical would probably be beneficial, right? Is
I
there a
don't know.
limit to how many? Like, is there a limit to aerobic?
At some point, I think that we're not limited by the aerobic component, and I think,
Why is Cam Livens running 3 times a day then?
well,
Why wouldn't he cross train one of those? What would be the difference?
I
Once
think
you
that
get to,
running's
like,
always the best if you can.
But once you're at 110 miles, why is the elliptical less important? I guess
Because
you're already just
recovery,
running so much.
recovery might be more important. You know what I mean?
It's like active recovery.
Because the reason why I would say it's less important is because, like, I'm not a scientist nor a coach, but just if you look at training in the most basic principles, we have like the principle of like an 80-20 rule. 80% of your training should be easy and then 20% should be hard. Massive oversimplification, but actually shows to be very accurate if you look at how much everyone distributes their intensities. And so if you're running 100 miles a week, you're probably doing that pretty well. But if you're only running 30 miles a week and all of that is intense, I think you still have a lot more to gain through the getting in that easier stuff via the cross training if your body's not able to do it running. That's like, I don't know if that's a good explanation, but that's kind of how I would think about it.
I would say very few of the best runners in the world are cross training. But
Yeah.
did you see
I
that
saw
video of
Kipchoge. What-
crushing on the stationary bike? That was hilarious.
Yeah, he was sweating
He was
so
sweating
much.
so hard.
And I was like, why are you doing that? Like, Kipchoge probably gets injured.
I've never heard of him being injured before.
He probably does. Like, everyone gets injured. Like, apparently Jakob is dealing with an injury right now.
I wonder if he's cross training. I don't think Jingy cross trains normally though.
No, I don't
I don't
so
think
either.
Josh Kerr cross trains
I think
unless he's not running.
Jingy definitely runs enough volume.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think
I mean, it obviously works like if you're not running like Grant, but I don't think Grant cross trains when actually he was talking about, they asked him whether he would continue doing any cross training like after it worked so well coming back this season.
mhm.
And he said, maybe a little bit. So,
Yeah, I think when you just see someone like Parker and you see those numbers, you do just still immediately think though, well,
how
if
much
they,
better?
Yeah, how much better they
Yeah.
could be if they could handle the training. And I mean, I'm sure that's her goal is to just slowly work up. It seems like, I mean, because you look at how the top women train and it's a lot, it's 80 miles a week plus, and you compare that to 30 miles, and it's like, how the hell do you bridge that gap? But if you have the right people around you and you have, good strength, good coach, similar to what you've gone through in the last 2 years, then you can really make these crazy big jumps. And I mean, it's only a positive that she's already able to compete at a similar level to these other people that she's competing against without having to do that training. That's only like a good thing.
I think it would be less of a jump for her because she's probably training like if she's doing 2 hours a day minimum, even if some days it's combined, like 12, 14 hours of training a week. So even if that becomes more running eventually, I don't think it wouldn't be as big a jump as if you were just someone that ran 30 miles a week.
I agree with that.
Normal person that ran 30 miles a week and then wanted to run 80.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely, your body's already getting trained and you're in the routine of training that often and all that, I think.
I think the big thing that we would, like, as in mostly Smith and I would talk about in terms of how I could, like, make up for little volume I was running was, like, talking about the density of the training as opposed to the volume. So, like, we'd talk about, like, the three kind of things you can increase in training are, like, intensity, volume, and density. And, like, by taking out volume but keeping the density really high in training, which means, like, on the days you do running like 10 to 12 miles a day on those days, that's like the equivalent of like the same. That's like if you ran that every day, that volume's like 80 plus. But you're doing it in like just cramming the density in, but taking the volume down. And it's probably high intensity as well because it's workout days. So you've got like intensity high and just volume low.
Yeah.
It's like one of them is like being lowered to make up for the other two.
Yeah, and so even though maybe in pure volume wise, you're only doing 50% of, say, like your training partners, in reality, in terms of the stuff that maybe matters the most, you're still doing 80 to 90%. Like you're still doing you're still actually doing most of the stuff that's important to make you really good at running. You're just not doing some of like the extra stuff to get you to that full 100%.
I wonder if I feel like it would be annoying being her teammate. Like she's never at practice, she's never running.
She shows up for the races.
She shows up to practice like once a week and just must be so far ahead. Like, this girl's not even running.
I can't even imagine.
I feel bad for her teammates.
Yeah.
But
so
nice
amazing to see. Yeah, amazing to see from Parker. And it'll be so interesting to see how things carry forwards between her and Caitlin Tui, because Caitlin was so untouchable like a year ago. And then things like during indoors she was crushing, and then outdoors things like didn't quite go her way. And then now it's been a little bit since things have gone exactly according to the Caitlin Tui plan. And I mean, she's one of the best runners of a generation. So it's just always interesting to see how that plays out. But the other big question I had for you, I wasn't with you when you were watching it, but I was wondering how it was here in your household between Jenna and yourself. How was it watching the NAU women go into battle?
Back to our NCAA draft, I was feeling very loyal to the NAU women. I think I picked 3 NAU women out of my 7 and 1 NAU guy that didn't run. I didn't win the competition. Spoiler alert. I was. Should
we tell the results of the competition
we
before
probably
we forget?
Should. Yeah.
So, well, it's gonna be bad because we don't have all that. Hopefully, get up Cinta's team.
I
at
pulled
least.
it up.
Okay, so, well, I only know the top 3.
Third place. Oh, you were third.
Yeah, I was third. I was pretty good. I was 79 points, maybe. 73.
Top runner, Doris Lemongole.
Yeah.
Alabama. Dennis Kipingedich. Oh, you had the OSU 1-2 punch.
I had one of them.
Or 1-3.
I have one of them.
Billa Jip Karui.
Yeah.
I'm going to say.
I had a strong team.
Another Alabama, Victor Kiprop.
I had some.
And David Malaki.
Yeah. It was. I mean,
you had 5 All-Americans.
Yeah, it was not bad. So I was third, and then Mario was
Silver, 69 points.
69. Well done, Mario. Good.
Oh, he had Oklahoma State. Brian Musau, Parker Wolf, Maya Ramsden, Aaron Los Harris, NAU, Dylan Sherbert, Thurman. He actually had even his 7th runner was 38th.
Yeah, he had a great team.
You had a DNF.
Yeah, see, my team, my spread was way too large. That was the issue there. But then first place and winning the Amazon $100 gift card
by a huge margin
was Cinta, and
37 points. She
crushed it.
Her lowest score was 10 points.
She
Her 5th runner was Fuad Masaudi, 10 points.
Yeah.
Amina Martug, Duke, I've heard of her.
Yeah.
Patrick Kiprop, Arkansas. Flamina Azcol, Florida, and Caitlin Tui.
Yeah, she
5, 6, 7, 9, 10. That's big time.
So what we did, we did a bit of research. Pretty much, we went through all the conference results, and I think by doing that, you were able to get a pretty good idea and get kind of like some sleeper picks. Because, for example, I think her name was Amina, the Duke girl. Like no one was picking her for the first few rounds, and I believe she was like 2nd or 3rd at ACCs. And the women's ACCs is so stacked.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, did a little bit of research.
Badly after. I mean, I got 1 point with Parker, and then I went downhill.
Yeah, what was your score?
I scored 116. I mean, I was like mid-pack. Like,
it's not that bad.
There
was some much higher scores than
I was probably like 5th or 6th.
Wait, who came last?
Alicia, 320 points. She also had only 6 people run. Alicia and I only had 6 people run because I picked someone that was an 8th man, which really threw a spanner in the works.
Yeah, that's not what you want.
And then I picked 3 NAU women just because I was feeling like I wanted someone to cheer for.
Mm-hmm.
And NAU women being ranked number 1 since Nuttycom after beating NC State. And that was a full strength NC State, I think. Tui and Camille went 2-3 that day at Nutty, and they still I think the NA women won by a decent margin then. So they're looking really strong. I didn't say they were better than the men, quote unquote, from Olli. I said they had a better chance of winning than the men.
Yeah,
which is different.
It is different because the NA.
Because I just thought that Oklahoma State was stronger than NC State were, and we'll get to the men after. But I mean, watching the NA women was fun because just previous years they haven't been. I think last year they maybe had a shot for the podium and maybe ended up 6th, but come a long way since I was there. They only qualified for nationals my 5th year. Like they kind of spent the first 4 years I was there, like just trying to get recruits. Basically, like Smith took on a program that hadn't made nationals in a long time, and had to. I mean, it's hard to get recruits at the start, like when you don't have much to show for it, and you just kind of have to. I mean, I don't know how those conversations went, but like, all right, you got to get someone to believe in the program, and obviously they got a big jump this year in transfers from New Mexico, but also you only get those transfers. Like a few years ago, they wouldn't have got those transfers.
Yeah, I know.
So a lot of people were trying to say like, they're only good, they're only number one because they got those transfers, but like having been at the level where you can attract those top level transfers is difficult in itself. Like they just wouldn't have got them a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it was the girls on the team for a long time that got them to that place. And yeah, to come away with 2nd by 1 point, obviously they're probably pretty disappointed. That's tough, but
the 1 point is so tough because it's just like,
and
especially there's so many bodies. It's just like,
and again, like the NAU men had an incredible day and were 2nd. But I think the NAU women had probably a pretty off day and were 2nd by 1 point, which probably makes it, maybe a little harder to take. So, that's tough for them. Like the NAU men, they know they couldn't have done any more. It's not like they're thinking, what if we did this? What if one of us ran like that? Like they had an incredible day across the board, and no one's beaten Oklahoma State on that day.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That is tough.
But credit to, actually, what I did love from Smith in an interview after, like he was asked, like, what do you think from like the announcement that Kelsey Camille, their number 2 runner, wasn't going to run, and he was kind of like, you don't wish that on any team. Like you don't wish that on your opponents. You want your opponents like fully rested.
Strength, yeah. You
want them tapered. You want them ready to go, and then you want to beat them. Like you want to beat them at their very best. Like not a man down. So for them to, lose their, I think she's finished in the top 10 like multiple times.
I think she was 3rd last year.
I think she might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they went 1-3.
Yeah.
And then to still win,
that is the flip side of the story. Is it was an amazing 3-peat for NC State, and they had to overcome so much adversity for an amazing team. But just this year, losing one of your top runners, and then maybe Tui just being a little bit off, it's just. And then you got an amazing new kid on the block with how good the NAU team was all during the season. Then to come out on top at the very end and complete the 3-peat, very impressive. So have to give them credit as well. But
now he has to show up to practice with Ellie.
I didn't
celebrating the
that.
3-peat.
I didn't even think about that. Oh, things are gonna be a little bit tense in Flagstaff. There's a couple too many NC State people there gonna be celebrating, but it was an amazing
big runs from the NAL athletes too. 3rd from Olivia Markovic or something, and 9th from Maya Ramson. Both
is Maya confirmed on?
Yes.
That was. It's so hard to keep up.
Gave
with
me nervous for a second.
It's so hard to keep up with the NIL stuff. Yeah, that is well done on a couple of good
and another
there.
3rd place if that's enough storylines on the.
Yeah, we can move on. Let's move on to the men's then, which was
it was such a sick race.
Such a good race. I love that course so much. I should say that as well for both of them.
Yeah.
The ups and downs and the turns.
Kind of similar to Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Like really wide.
It does look similar.
Trees, and then like it looked rock hard. But like fast, but like hilly. That's what it's been the last few years. Like hard in terms of the up and down, but also just like it looks, maybe it's just like cold or something. Like the ground just is dry, and they're out in 56 or something for the first 400. Like,
Yeah, can we
slightly
talk about
downhill.
how ridiculous the men are for going out but you had to. I mean, you didn't have to, but you kind of had to. They went out in 2:29, I think, through the first K, and it was quite net downhill. It looked like, at least from the broadcast, but they were just sprinting so hard. And then I think the second K was like close to 3 minutes. Then after that, like,
Was it really?
yeah, it must have, like, the K splits must have really just depended on how difficult they were, because there was, I mean, they didn't run close to another 2:29. I'm not sure what the top, like the last K was for the top guys. Maybe that got down there close again, but they did not run close to 2:29 for their other splits. I will say that much, because that is ridiculously fast, and there was just such a deep pack, like, at the front of the men's race. Like, everyone just knows it. They just go for it now, and it was some amazing racing, but from a team perspective, pretty early on, you could tell. I think maybe the first split or the first couple of splits, Oklahoma State were a little bit buried after that. And when I say buried, I think they were still in second place. But I think NAU were on top at the first couple of splits. But then
One of their guys had a crazy, like, place gain from actually a couple of them, because they did have quite a high point score at like kilometer 1, but that's because the guy that ended up coming 12th was in 120th.
Yeah.
At 1K.
So that makes a big difference, because once the race really got going and things started getting properly spread out, which was, maybe 4 or 5K, you could just see all the Oklahoma State guys right up there, and you're like, shit.
They just packed together.
How are you ever going to beat this team? Because they have 5 guys in the top 20. Like, how are you ever going to? And
their 2 guys ran together, and then the next, like, their 3, 4, 5 just packed together the whole, like, it must have just felt like a workout.
They're all amazing runners. That's the thing. Like, you know how good they are. So it's like, well, if they're in that place at that point in the race, they're probably not going to lose it. So I think from that point on, it was like, okay, the team title here looks like it's going to go the way of OSU, and
they would have had to have a cataclysmic,
like a big event, a big blow up,
a huge blow up.
Yeah. So
like 100 play. I mean, they ended up on, what did they win by? 49 to 70.
49 is crazy. That's such a little amount of points, especially in this day and age, like how good everyone is.
I wonder what did Stanford score that year? Early 2000s.
They've scored less. I think those teams have scored less. I think they've scored like around 30 points. But the quality of the depth.
This day and age, I feel like that is crazy, because back then I feel like there were less teams and just like less people at that level.
Yeah, like I think back then, speaking like around the 2000s, maybe the top 5 guys were really, really, really good, and probably like similar to today. But definitely, like, we just know how good the top 100 guys at the NCAA are now, and even more than that. It's that level is just so high for all those guys. So it is.
It really was a two horse race. 49. The third place team, 196 points.
Who was the third place team?
BYU.
Okay, yeah. So it was really just between them and Oklahoma State. I mean, I kind of like them.
Someone was asking either Smith or they were just like talk about like whether that's a rivalry or not now. It doesn't really feel like one, even though like they were probably pissed last year after they tied and they had to watch NAU like freaking party on stage in Oklahoma. Like that must after tying.
Yeah.
And then they come back and absolutely crush. But I don't,
you're right. It doesn't feel like
NAU
personal.
versus BYU.
It doesn't feel like personal.
NAU versus BYU got personal.
Maybe next year. Maybe if they're still the 2 best teams next year, then it'll become like that. But I guess one of the questions I did have is, do you think it will stay this way next year? Do you think, and looking at this from mostly NAU's perspective, do you think this is going to be the moment where it's a really big rebuild
required?
Yeah, like is this where things will change?
I think the fact that we somehow went from like Baxter and T-Day to Drew and Nico like so seamlessly is just, I think, such an unlikely
you can't
occurrence.
just manufacture that.
Like Matt and T-Day, you just like guaranteed they're going to be up front pushing the pace, and then Drew and Nico, they're just like so consistent. You just know that the 1-2 is going to be there, and the only the year we didn't have that was 2019, and we know what happened there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but to have that again is like hard to
come
it's
back.
hard to see that happening again. So I think, I mean, maybe Nico's coming back. I think he's got another year. But that was Drew's 5th cross country already. So
Was it?
yeah, because he ran the Oklahoma State that didn't count.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure he's done. I
Yeah.
think I don't know how NCAA math
Hopefully
works
he's
these
done.
days.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Brody, that was also his 5th cross country meet, I think. Another just incredible performance.
Yeah.
His last like couple of K splits, just ridiculous. Going from, he started in 84th and came 25th.
Yeah. It's very impressive. Very impressive.
So yeah, they lose a couple of consistent guys, and yeah, I think it'll be a struggle, but I don't know.
Well, then now they get the best recruits, so like it could happen. I mean, best recruits doesn't automatically equal the best teams, because we see it at Stanford, we see it at Oregon. Like these schools get amazing recruits, and their teams don't perform.
So I think also having like getting the top recruit in Nico, and then they come 4th at NCAAs.
Yeah,
is like
that's
often you get the best
ridiculous.
recruit, and then like they redshirt, and then maybe they have a couple of like years trying to.
It takes time.
Like the fact that you come 4th as a true freshman, like that doesn't just happen to every good recruit.
Yeah,
Like that was ridiculous as well.
mm-hmm. We're gonna have to wait next week to talk about the fact that Oregon didn't qualify as well when Olli's back, so he can give his 2 cents on it, because that's just crazy to me. Like that Oregon could not qualify out of.
It was
like,
pretty fun. Like the camera panning across.
There's
and
one
just
Oregon.
one Oregon dude.
It's like, how does that happen? Like, it's Oregon. Come on. But yeah, so it'll be interesting how these teams rebuild and how things change now, because yeah, Oklahoma State is an interesting team. I feel like they're a very mixed team, and they have a lot of internationals, and I don't know, they don't have the same maybe you just have to win more times. I'm not sure. I mean, they've been very successful for a long time, but they definitely don't have the same like feeling of like an NAU yet. I guess we just got so used to a dynasty, because before that there was a new team winning every year or two, and maybe we'll go back to that for a bit, but who knows? Who knows? So the team,
It feels harder to get recruits to go to Stillwater.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. I
mean, I haven't been to Stillwater, but
no, I can't. I don't think it's quite the same as NAU Flagstaff. So
that was the team race, though.
that was the team race. The individual race on the men's side was so exciting because it was so open, and everyone was there pretty much. Like all the top guys were there.
Everyone took
together.
a turn at like trying to hammer for a bit too.
Yeah, it was like there were
New
a lot of
Mexico
moves
dude went to
being
the
made.
front.
Yeah.
Both OSU guys went to the front for a sec, and then Kai kind of made the move that like split it up at maybe 2K to go.
Yeah, Kai's. So I really thought that Kai was gonna win. I really did. So when he was at the front, I was like, okay, there's no one beating him. But
I think it was just slightly too fast again.
I just need to give so much credit to Graham Blanks, because he didn't just win as well. Like, he like fucking crushed it. Like that was a big move. Like still with a whole K left in the race or whenever it was, and he ended up dropping everyone except what's the New Mexico's guy's name? Is it
Tim Samuel?
and
He just came 17th in Bathurst.
yeah,
Start of
like-
the year.
and Blanks he's dropping him. Like it's just crazy to see someone run from the front like that. So
I'm very interested to see how he goes on the track.
yeah, how it translates. Because I think
I assume he's going to be running like next week at BU.
yeah,
It's down the
course.
road. Like why?
Of
How
course.
could you not
They
jump
have
in
to.
that 5K?
I think he does have a fast 5K time, like 13.
Someone said, like,
is it faster?
I think maybe like 13:19 or something.
19. Yeah,
But like these days.
that's the same thing. So yeah,
Yeah, that's the new
13:30 nowadays.
Yeah.
13:20 now. So
Yeah.
it isn't going to be interesting to see like going straight from winning cross to the BU 5K. Like if you ran like 13:0, I wouldn't even be like. I mean, I don't know if I'd be. I'm not trying to say I wouldn't be surprised. I guess that is kind of what I'm saying. Like these guys are so good. I mean, they're capable of doing these amazing things.
I would love to see his and Parker's last 2 months of training like lined up.
Yeah,
Because by the sounds of it, they train very hard at Harvard.
the Harvard training system blows my mind.
And it was like a kind of not a cryptic comment, but like a loaded thing where he was like, we run a lot of miles, and then he said, a lot of quality miles,
Yeah.
which from rumor has it, they just run fast all the time. That's like their training philosophy.
They don't
like
run anything slower than 6 minute pace.
Like no junk miles.
Yeah. Like we're talking about Klecker miles over here. They're living it. I have heard that. So this is going to be, I'm sure some people listening know much better than us the specifics of it, but they just will start at low mileage, but they'll run everything at 6 minute pace, and then they'll build up as much as they can maintain 6 minute pace. They'll build up their volume, but they won't ever build up their volume if they can't keep it at that 6 minute pace. And I imagine they do stupid workouts as well. And I imagine they also spend a lot of time in either Flagstaff or Boulder, probably Flagstaff, I think.
Really? In the summer or something?
I just assume all the Ivy kids go there. It's just the vibe I get. So they're training very, very hard. So
it is like the opposite philosophy on volume most people have. Most people like up the volume, and then as you like become used to that volume, you naturally run faster because it's easier.
Yeah, I would love to hear the coach talk about it. Maybe he has somewhere but I just love to know like what is it about running.
We did have a
6 minute pace.
We had a Michigan transfer in AU when I started, and when Gibby was the coach at Michigan, and he would tell us some ridiculous stories about what they would do. It's like 40 times 400 drag. And like,
who is this Gibby coach?
That's the coach. That is the Harvard coach.
Oh, he used to coach at Michigan?
Yeah, he came from Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he went somewhere in between.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think his name's Gibby.
Because I always knew that, because my whole time there, the Michigan coach was already
Sullivan.
Sully.
It was the guy before that.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Wow. Yeah. I love it when you hear, like, this is why I love hearing, like, Ben Thompson about his training. I love it when it's just something completely different.
Yeah.
Because training to us is so, like I think we understand it in a very linear way. Like, we know, like, I think what we're doing that works, and we also know, like, what we would want to work towards. Like, it makes sense to us. Like, yeah, if we can just do more volume of, like, this type of training, and if we can do these workouts harder, we're going to be better. And it's just, like, seems very straightforward what we do. Because it's the same thing that, Bauman does. It's the same thing that essentially, well, slightly different, but similar to, like, how Jakob and all these people train. But then you hear these people that are just completely different. It's so interesting to see. And they have so much success with it. So it is cool.
I mean, he looked amazing, too. Like, celebrating down the finish line. He looked like he could have done another K.
Yeah. So it will be interesting to see how that translates into the track. But yeah, credit to him.
I think Kai would have had it if it was a little slower. I think that was kind of the same thing last year. Like, it was just too fast out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that year they kind of just didn't cover the move with that only Charles did. But I would have picked him. Like, he definitely would have had the best finish out of those top 10 guys if he was in.
It's hard to say, though. I 100%, like, I know what you're saying, but I still believe in cross country and in, like, the 10K. If you're the strongest, you have the best kick most of the time still.
I think that's how he ended up. He had the fastest last K, I think.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But it was amazing races, as
not
always.
Often actually a jog.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. I feel like it just never comes down to, like, that tactical where someone that isn't fit wins.
Can you imagine if it actually was a joke? Like, because even when like you it seems tactical, cross country there's 250 people. Even if it seems tactical, there might be 20 people left in the end. Can you imagine if it actually was a jog and there's
it's only tactical for 20 people that are fit enough?
Yeah, like that's not a jog still, because you've dropped everyone else. But if you actually had it where there was 150, 200 people at the end, well, that'd be fun. That wouldn't make any sense. It'd be impossible.
Yeah.
But
positioning would just be everything. Like,
yeah. Everyone would fall over. I saw a couple of people fell at the start. I felt really bad for them.
There's no callback in cross? How would you get 250 people to come back?
I don't know, but I thought there was. I love that. Like, I don't even know the rules of the sport that
I feel like that's the kind of thing they say. We'll run it back, but like mostly they're like, all right, fuck, just.
Because I thought there was a cross country rule.
Hopefully no one falls. How do you get 250 people to come back? That sounds really difficult.
Shoot the gun again. I don't know. Just keep shooting it. Pew, pew, pew. I'm always so impressed by the starter being in the middle as well.
I thought they normally get out of the way, but
sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Do they tell that middle team, like, dude, watch out. I'm still going to be there. I thought about that watching it.
I think it has to be wide enough. It has to be wide enough. There must be like the perfect ratio of when it's so wide that they know that people can go around you, and it's also too wide for you to make it to
The edge.
the edge.
But
Like-
surely you could just fire the gun on the back of one of those, the
Yeah,
car anyway.
you would think that
and
as
just
well.
drive off.
But I think it's so epic firing the gun and then just having 250 people run past you.
That
So
would be pretty sweet.
I do enjoy that as well. So yeah, that was NCAA.
Any other
Cross country.
storylines? How did you feel about Wisconsin's performance? Sorry to bring it up.
I didn't want to talk about this. It's like I'm pretty sure somebody cursed us because no matter how good our team is, like we'll come like 9th or 10th every year. And because it was the exact same thing when I was there. In fact, my senior year, we were ranked like in the final season ranking, we were ranked top 4. Maybe it was 4th, but we were ranked like podium. And we were looking really good. And we had amazing athletes. Like, it made sense. And then I think we finished like 9th or something like that. Like, just on the day, we just like couldn't quite get it done. And that was the same thing that happened this year. And I don't know. I need to talk to the boys. I feel bad because I
Ranked,
know
yeah, ranked 5th going in.
a couple of them will be pretty disappointed with how they
We know how
played
good
out.
some of the, like Jackson Sharp's very good runner.
Yeah.
King Bob,
King Bob
Adam Spencer.
was going for it.
great runners, but
Yeah, just
the Wisconsin curse.
there's something going on there. We need to get the Ghostbusters out there to investigate that because there's something going on. It definitely goes beyond a normal training thing. It's something extraterrestrial, I think. So we got to fix that. But yeah, another tough year for the guys. I think. I know they had high expectations, but
I think that's got to be one of the lowest placings for Colorado in a long, long time.
Where did they
too.
finish?
25th.
Hey, at least they qualified. You know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was gonna say something that Click was saying about that, but I won't get into it.
Yeah. No, I think every team goes through these times when it's very difficult.
Ebbs and flows. It really does.
Ebbs and flows, and now's not a great time for them. But I'm sure they'll be back. So, yeah. All right. I'm close to my limit, I think. This has been a great effort. We weren't going to record today because I was still feeling too sick, but we kind of felt like today would be the best way to get it done. So, the best day.
I feel like we got it done. I feel like we did a really good recap, especially
Mhm.
considering there was no preview.
Yeah.
And we're feeling good about it. We missed a bean shout out at the beginning, so I'll do that before we go.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Coffee Club coaching athlete Kevin Boyle.
Shout out to Kev.
Shout out Kev. Final race of the season last year was 15:59 or broke 16
He broke 16.
and got a dub. Sent a photo of the finish line and a very nice note to Coach George, but
Yeah,
also to the
no.
Coffee Club.
Dude, it's all you, bro.
And some
earned it.
beans. What interestingly, our second bag of beans from Costa Rica, I think.
Mm-hmm. We have specifically mentioned that we like Costa Rican beans before.
We do. Central America is our go-to. So some beans from Cafe Monteverde. Thanks, Kev.
Yeah.
Can't wait to try them.
Thank you, Kev. And with that, I think that's it for episode 112. Hope you guys enjoyed the runaround that was the Coffee Club podcast today. Hopefully next week we're all back together and things are a little more simple. But yeah, that's it from us. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you all next week.